Hi, my name is Gabrielleburton, licensed marriage and family therapist intern,
And I'm JacentWamala, licensed marriage and family therapist.
and we are your hosts of
The
Wealthiness of Healthiness show. Every week we come to you with content to increase your mental health journey. This week we're talking about self-care.
So last week we talked about the definition and kind of challenged you with coming up with your own definition and coming up with a preliminary action plan for what you're going to do for self-care. Today we want to talk about the first 4 domains.
So the first domain is physical self-care. And so a lot of times when people think about physical self-care, they think about working out and going to the gym, losing weight, dieting and things like that. And so a lot of times, like when I work with clients, there's like this huge emphasis on, trying to get fit and get healthy. But a lot of times there's like this negative, kind of underlying tone about it. And so being physical, when it comes to physical self-health, it really is just about moving your body. And so I think it's important to find ways to be physical and to move your body in ways that you really enjoy. So maybe you like riding your bike, or maybe you like to go on walks, or maybe you like to dance. Finding ways that you're just moving your body and just thinking of it as self-care and not necessarily as a chore or to get a certain goal to lose so much weight, but literally just moving your body.
Yeah, I think it's necessary to find, like you've said, the thing that you really attach to or enjoy, because it makes it easier to do.
Absolutely.
And so everyone can relate to a time where they've either gone out with their friends and are like, wow, I didn't know I could dance for 3 hours straight, but I did it, you know? And so whatever that thing is that speaks to you, just picking it and implementing it and doing it as often as you can. If you like dancing, you can dance in your house in the morning to a song, It doesn't have to be anything lengthy or overextended, for sure.
Yes.
The second domain is going to be emotional self-care. So I love this one because I think that a lot of times we kind of ignore how we're doing, whether that's to honor other people or because of the idea of like being loyal and how can you say, like sticking to your commitments. And so what I usually say to people is like, you need to figure out how to honor where you're at the time, but that requires that you do the self-awareness piece and being able to check in with yourself about how you're doing at a time. And so I often tell my closest friends, like, if you don't feel like doing something, by all means, you should not have to force yourself into doing something you don't have to do or don't want to do, because you're not going to enjoy it anyway, and people can pick up on that. And so honoring yourself is actually going to teach other people how to honor you as well. So everything starts with yourself, and if you can get to the point where you can hone in on that self-awareness piece to check in with yourself and honor your emotional well-being by starting with you, then other people will do the same as well.
Yes, I love that. I think I always say doing the right thing for the wrong reason is still the wrong thing. And so just being honest with yourself and just saying, you know what, I know that I said I was going to help volunteer with the kids at church today, but honestly today my body's just not up for it. And so how can I honor myself at where I'm at right now? And that'll go a long way.
Yeah, I have an open cancel policy with my friends. If at any time, because I want it too, if at any time we make plans and they want to cancel, by all means tell me, and no harm, no foul. Like I'm not going to be upset with you or anything like that, but I also need it on the other end is like, if I'm not feeling up to something, then I should be, as your friend, I should be able to come to you and say, hey, like, can we reschedule? I'm really not feeling up to it right now. And thankfully I have some really good friends that I can do that with. But sometimes you just have to be really explicit about it.
Yeah, I love that. So the next category is going to be the spiritual component of your self-care. And so that's going to look different for a lot of people. I know nowadays a lot of people say I'm spiritual, not religious, and totally fine, whatever that looks like for you. But pretty much spiritual self-care is just something that is doing good for your soul. So maybe that's reading a really good book, or maybe that's going on a hike, or listening to a podcast, or going to a church service, or listening to certain music. Maybe it's watching a comedy skit, or listening to babies laugh. Whatever it is that is just nourishing and replenishing your soul, make sure that you implement that regularly.
Definitely. The last domain that we'll talk about today is your personal self-care, right? And so what time are you taking intentionally on a regular basis to do the things that you know are going to help you to feel good, whether if it's if it's a hobby, if you like singing or writing, maybe it's something creative, maybe a part of your self-care is spending uninterrupted time with a sibling or your spouse or something like that. And that feeds you. If you feel like that feeds you personally, then you can count that. But what is that you're going to be able to do for yourself on a regular basis that's going to help feed you personally?
Love it. So we always want to leave you with some challenges to be able to take this content away and be able to implement it in your own life. And so we want to challenge you to look at the different topics that we talked about today and ask yourself, where am I missing it? Where am I not meeting the mark for one of these areas? And then trying to pick one activity that you can try to implement this week to implement self-care in a different way than you've ever done before.
Definitely. Leave us those ideas in the comment section or email us any questions you might have for next week's wrap up on self-care. But we appreciate you joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.